All right, Shalom, Brother Yerah. First and foremost, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Shalom to the elect, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom the Lord will have mercy on in these latter days. Shalom to the men of the Lord that are prophesying, preaching, and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom, Shalom. And you can see the headline here. It says, "Who the World Health Organization warns coronavirus vaccine alone won't end pandemic." And it says, "We cannot go back to the way things were." So this is basically Esau Edom, which is the so-called white man, showing his hand yet once again. Because honestly, man, we're at the end of this thing. There's so many articles, there's so many things coming out where it's just blatant, it's in your face. I did a video on something called the Great Reset, where they're just showing you the New World Order. And the thing that's been lauded as a conspiracy theory, you got a QAnon group that's getting demonized, which they go into a lot of madness themselves, and some of those theories or whatever. But there's been uh, major conspiracy theories that's been laughed at in the media and you know demonized, and with all these terms like tinfoil hat, you know, uh, and just a lot of slander for basically people who are just critical thinkers, just analyzing things that they see in the media, behaviors, you know, and come to find out it's all true. Not every single conspiracy theory, but one of the main ones is this New World Order thing. And it's not a hard concept to believe that the elite, the very, very rich, will exploit the poor. And that's essentially what the New World Order is. It's a giant exploitation of a bunch of rich Edomites exploiting even his own people, you know. So World Health Organization is part of that New World, is part of the Council of the New World Order. You have various uh, world entities. You have the International Monetary Fund. You have the Bank of International Settlements. You know, which is basically a network of central banks going back to the Bretton Woods Agreement, which I'll get that. I think I had that pulled up. The Bretton Woods Agreement goes back to 1948 or 1944, Slovakia. The Bretton Woods Agreement was created in a 1944 conference of all of the World War II Allied nations. It took place in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Under the agreement, countries promised that their central banks, and our central bank here over in Babylon, which is America, is the Federal Reserve, which is over all the other central banks. And it explains how that is so. Here it says countries promised that their central banks would maintain a fixed exchange rates between their currencies and the dollar. And if you look here, it says what did it do? The system created a collective international currency exchange regime that lasted from the mid 1940s to the early 1970s. And the reason it says it goes to the 70s because actually I'll just keep reading. It says that the Bretton Woods system required a currency peg to the U.S. dollar, which was in turn pegged to the price of gold. So this is that first setup when they made the world reserve currency was through this Bretton Woods agreement, and that was the U.S. dollar. But at the time, from 1944 to the 70s during Nixon era, it was gold that it was backed by. Now in the 1970s, Nixon got rid of the gold standard. He basically said the money is not based on anything anymore, not based on any precious metal, I should say. And what they did in turn was they struck a deal with Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia was pumping out by far the most oil in the world, and they still do, even though they don't have the largest reserves. They discovered bigger oil reserves. Saudi Arabia is pumping out the most oil, so they basically tied the dollar from gold to oil using that Saudi Arabia deal. and then you have what you call the petrodollar, and that's basically been reigning over the entire globe ever since then. All right. So this is how that U.S. World Reserve currency came about. The Bretton Woods Agreement was one of those major things, and once you control the money, man, all these other organizations like International Monetary Fund, the UN, WHO, World Health Organization, all of these entities came about basically through that, through the money. This is how everything is financed. Now we're gonna play a quick video of this guy, and the shit that he says is on one hand it's unbelievable, but on the same hand, if you know that the elites have been planning a new world order, it's not shocking at all to hear this. It's just shocking to see that we're finally here at the point now where they're just coming out and saying it.
Period with little or no transmission. Several countries around the world are now experiencing fresh outbreaks after a long period with little or no transmission. These countries are a cautionary tale for those that are now seeing a downward trend in cases. Progress does not mean victory. The fact remains that most people remain susceptible to this virus. That's why it's vital that countries are able to quickly identify and prevent clusters to prevent community transmission and the possibility of new restrictions. No country can just ride this out until we have a vaccine. A vaccine will be a vital tool, and we hope that we will have one as soon as possible. But there is no guarantee that we will. And even if we do have a vaccine, it won't end the pandemic on its own. We must all learn to control and manage this virus using the tools we have now, and to make the adjustments to our daily lives that are needed to keep ourselves and each other safe. So-called lockdowns enabled many countries to suppress transmission and take the pressure off their health systems. But lockdowns are not a long-term solution for any country. We do not need to choose between lives and livelihoods, or between health and the economy. That's a false choice. On the contrary, the pandemic is a reminder that health and the economy are inseparable. WHO is committed to working with all countries to move into a new stage of opening their economies, societies, schools, and businesses safely. To do that, every single person must be involved. Every single person can make a difference. Every person, family, community, and nation must make their own decisions based on the level of risk where they live. That means every person and family has a responsibility to know the level of transmission locally and to understand what they can do to protect themselves and others. At the same time, we cannot go back to the way things were. Throughout history,
There you have it. He did all that fluffing. You know, using a softer tone to basically tell you, look, however things were, we're not going back to that. We're going in a different direction. And you heard him say everybody's got to get involved. He said everyone has a responsibility to do this.
outbreaks and pandemics have changed economies and societies. This one will be no different. In particular, the pandemic has given new impetus to the need to accelerate efforts to respond to climate change. The pandemic has given us a glimpse of our world as it could be.
What is that glimpse? That's the new world order. You know, he's this guy here, the director. What is his title? Salaki, I missed it. He's the director of in the World Health Organization. I forget what part, but he just said it.
Cleaner skies and rivers.
So there you heard it. And I think they go back down here and they requote it.
We're finally back and can't wait until
Salakia.
you are too.
I don't know why this. Uh, playing. It says the virus has infected more than 22 million people, which that number. I mean, good luck actually proving that, and it's killed 794,000. And we know that they bullshitted these numbers. There's absolutely no way to tell what the actual number is, and even still, that number is low compared to all the other things that are killing. And this is the global number right here, by the way. So this is less than that's less than 1%, way less than 1% of the world. You know that have died due to this thing. When you had tuberculosis, that had 30 times the death rate last year. It killed 1.5 million people, and only 15 million people got infected. This says 22 million people got infected here. Only 15 million people got infected by tuberculosis last year, and 1.5 million died. But there was none of this nonsense coming out, you know. So this is part of that council, man. I'm gonna get some scriptures on these various councils that the scriptures uh, go in on. Actually, I'll start at Psalms 64. Psalm 64 and 2 says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words." Because this is only the beginning, man. Right now they're using words. Right now their tongue is, they're just wetting their tongue or sharpening their swords right now. But the real violence and bloodshed is to come, and it's starting now. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not, because ultimately it's Jake, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that they have in their sights. They see us as the real problem on the earth. Because look at the energy that flowed through the earth when the George Floyd thing happened. We're the salt of the earth, and it's a shame that 2/3 of our people are just committed to wickedness. But the Most High only needs 1/3, and that He's gonna wake them up, and it's gonna be a great. It's gonna be a great time, man. When that great awakening happens, Esau's done, man. The earth is gonna change forever after that. Verse 5, it says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune, laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Because they don't think the Most High is going to do anything about this. They don't think Jake is going to catch on. And truth be told, the majority of Jake is not going to catch on. You could be out there on the street corners telling them. You can put videos up telling them. But there's just, some are just niggas, man. I hate to say it that way, but that's just what it is. They're blinded. And this is emboldening Esau to keep on doing what he's doing. Okay, it says, commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away, because you got a lot of Edomites that are waking up to this as well too. This rhetoric that they're speaking about, all like their people are getting anxious, they're getting pissed, But at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to do anything about it, because once that food gets cut off, people's mindsets are going to completely change, man. You got about a week of people not getting food or not knowing where their meal is coming from before all hell breaks loose. The psychology of your brain completely breaks down at that point, especially when you've been living so loftily as you have here in America. And when people see Americans bugging out like that, that's going to put an energy across the entire world, because Americans are known as, people think you just live, like kings over here. And in a way you do, to compare to some other countries. But when they see Americans bugging out like that, hey, that's going to be that's going to be putting fear. And that's a spirit, because it says it right here. It says, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, and they shall wisely consider of his doing. All right. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord, Yahweh. That's the men of the Lord, and shall trust in him. And all the upright in heart shall glory. Man, that's a powerful, powerful scripture, man. I love that scripture, because it tells you exactly what these devils are doing. Psalm 71:10, it says, for my enemies speak against me, and they that lay wait for my soul take counsel together. Because you have what you call the Bilderberg Group, the Council of Foreign Relations. These are all global organizations that have counsel together on a global level. The World Economic Forum, so you can't pretend like it's a conspiracy theory at this point. They're just coming out and saying it every other day. You're just hearing them say it. If you can't see it now, man, you need to pray, pray, pray. Because there's a good chance the Lord is blinding you, man. And if the Lord is blinding you, you'll never see it. So, it is what it is on that. Verse 11, it says, saying, God hath forsaken him, persecute and take him, for there is none to deliver him. That's just like the devil say, oh, the Lord's not with him now. We can attack. Only a demon would attack somebody that they perceive to be innocent. Only the goddamn devil would do that. But this is the last precept, because this is what's going to happen. The Most High is going to come through. It says, Job and Job 18:5. It says, yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. So the Lord is going to put this whole thing to bed really, really soon. It's just the elect that's got to endure to the end. Because the light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. So the steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. And that's a beautiful thing, It's for he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. But he's causing all this confusion, and it's all going to cave in on him. It says, the snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. This is talking about you, Esau. It says, his strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. So that firstborn of death is going back to these Passover type events, which is really coming. Through the Spirit, another version of the Passover is getting ready to come over America. And during that Passover event, what happened? Egypt got hit with all types of plagues. One of those plagues being all of the firstborn getting taken out. Even the firstborn of animals got taken out, man. Hey, the Lord completely judged them, It says his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the King of terrors. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. So this place is through, man. We're seeing it more and more every day now. And brother, stay on your watch, stay prayed up, stay in the Spirit. You know, hopefully y'all brothers will edify. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Rachakwadash. Wa Abad Babal.